Hello, this is Chris from QuadShot Software with the next in our series of videos on OpenTickets Community Edition. In the previous videos I've shown you how you can use our seating extension to create really sophisticated, complex seating charts very easily in order to allow your customers to pick their own seats. However, some seating layouts can be very complicated, with lots of seats and lots of different sections within them. For example, consider this seating chart here. There are several different clearly identifiable sections, and in order to see clearly what seats are available within each section and to be able to purchase the ones you want, it could be useful to be able to use our Zoom Zone tool to allow your customers to actually zoom in on a section they're interested in and look only at those seats and purchase seats from that section. And that's what we're going to be doing in this tutorial today. If I go back to our dashboard and go to the seating charts that we have available, we've got a seating chart here, seating 06. Now this isn't as complicated as the last chart I showed you, but it has three clearly identifiable sections. And what we want to do is to allow our customers to zoom in on each of the sections they're interested in so they can buy tickets just from that section. Here on the right hand side is our Zoom Zone tool. So if we click on that, the first thing we're going to want to do is to draw our first zoom zone. And so I'm going to make this the seats that are in the north section. So having drawn on them like that, I go to the pointer tool, toggle the zoom zone and select the zoom zone. What I now want to be able to do is make it appear elegant on our seating chart. Rather than having this area of cross-hatching on it, we'd like to use a combination of nice colors that would identify it as a zoomable zone, but would look a little bit nicer. So the first thing we're going to do is in the properties box of this zoom zone, we're going to set the fill color. And we're going to set the fill color to be very similar, if not the same, as the seats that we're actually drawing. Having done that, the next thing we need to be able to do is, if we show the advance, we need to set the fill transparency to be very low in order that everything shows up underneath this particular zoom zone. And in order to do that, I'm going to set this particular zone to be 0.1. If I now click, you can see that the seats are immediately visible through that particular zone. So having done that, we want to do the next zoom zone. So again, I'm going to click the Zoom Zone tool and I'm going to do the seats in the west section of our seating. Again, we click on it. We're going to change the fill color and accept that shade of turquoise, and again set the fill transparency to be 0.1. And the final zoom zone we're going to create is the east section of seats. And if I create the zoom zone there, if I click on it, again set the fill color to be pretty much the same, and the fill color there we go, and set the fill transparency again to be 0.1. We can see that has now been selected OK. What we can now do is we can use this particular button in our toolbar to toggle the zoom zones on and off. Having created those zoom zones, we now just have to update the seating chart with them on it. Now if I go to our event calendar, the event that uses that particular chart, that seating chart I just showed you, is the performance of Macbeth on the 31st. So let's click on that. You can just barely see there is some background images on our charts, and if I click on them, it zooms in to that particular zone. Now these seats were already fairly big, but imagine if they were a lot smaller. You would be able to zoom in very, very easily. If we go back to our calendar, and once again go to the 31st, and this time let's click on the east section, and you can see there we've instantly zoomed in on that particular section, and we can pick the seats that we want. As we hover the mouse over each of them, it shows the seat name, the fact that it's available, and the price of tickets that we have set for that particular seat. So this shows you how you can use zoom zones to assist your clients when they want to zoom in on a seating chart on a particular area to purchase their tickets.